What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Reasonable Doubt, Season 1, Episode 2. So, we pick up where we left off with, we left off with Jax getting her little piece of something, putting on the show for her hubby. So, we wake up with her the next morning, getting a phone call, letting her know that Kalisha is dead, okay? Kalisha is dead, and Rich is begging her to go down to, Miller's place, to try to, make sure if he has legal representation. And she was like, why should I do that? Like, he didn't want me to be his lawyer. He was like, please do me a favor. Can you do it for me? So she gets up and she getting ready to get herself ready to go. And baby Will thinks that Will don't understand that it is not that kind of party. He is cooking breakfast. He acting like they about to play house and they about to turn this into a whole situation. And she was like, baby, I don't know what you think this is going to be, but I'm telling you what it ain't. This was a one and done situation. Thank you for, dusting me off and let me put on the show for my hubby. But baby, that's not what this is. I don't know if Will figured it out or not. She was like, I'll call you, but we don't see her call him the rest of this episode. Baby, he know where you live. And I feel like it's going to be a whole situation with Will. But we're going to put a pin in that because I told y'all this is one of them shows where everything is important. So we're going to put a pin in that. But I don't think that's the last we've seen of Mr. Will, okay? So we see her head on down to Miller's house, Braden Miller's house. And yes, the police are questioning him. And he said, maybe I should wait for my attorneys. And they were like, oh, no, we just want to ask you a few questions. So, of course, she shows up and she was like, now, I know he said he'd need to wait for his attorneys. I'm not understanding why y'all talking. And they were like, well, we're not interrogating him. We just want to talk to him and, figure some things out. And she was like, well, what you need to figure out? At the end of the day, if he has something to say, we'll bring him down to the police station for y'all to talk to him. But what you're not getting ready to do is sit here and ask him a bunch of questions right here. That's what you not gonna do, okay? You're gonna move on, and that's gonna be that. We're gonna get it in and we're gonna get out, okay? And she does her lawyer thing and gets rid of them and impresses Braden. Like, he's real impressed by how she handled the police. So as the police leave, Rich shows up, and Braden was like, okay, well, what do we do next? And she was like, we don't do nothing next. You need to talk to your attorney of record, because isn't that who you wanted to represent you? You wanted him, right? That's who you wanted? Well, that's who you got. I'm out. Deuces. She gets back to her office, and she tells her secretary, that I'm not taking him on as a client. I was just doing Rich a favor. That's it. That's all. And she was like, yeah, right. I know you. You're going to end up taking him on as a client. She was like, nah. No, I'm not. I'm good. So we see Braden, reminiscing. And we see that he did go see Kalisha the night that she died. And she goes... So, I'm sorry. Rich asked her to go visit the DA. Because the DA, by the name of Miguel... They went to law school together. Even some rumors that they might have dated or whatever. And he was like, can you go down there and just see what they have? Like, do they have anything? Do they have any evidence on Braden? What's going on? So she goes down there to visit Miguel. She does, Rich, that's solid. And come to find out, they were able to prove that they have information. I'm going to say prove because, but they have information that Braden was with Kalisha the night before. And then we see Braden sort of flashbacking and showing that he did go see her the night before. So Jax goes back to let Rich know, like, listen, you might have a problem because they do have this information to show that, he did go see her the night that she died. And so at this point, he the last one that saw her alive. So this is about to be a problem for you. And he was like, well, he did say he was going to go over there and get the prenup. Get the NDA signed. He said that he knew what she wanted and he knew how to get her to sign. And he said he got her to sign. Like, she had signed the prenup the day before. And Jax was like, well, wait a minute. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Because if she signed the prenup the day before, then there was really no motive for him to kill her. Like, he got what he wanted. That actually helps your case that he went to go see her and he got the prenup signed. And, Rich was like, see, that's why I need you on the case, because your point of view, the way you look at things, that's what I need. I need those types of eyes on this situation. And she was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Nope, not doing it. And so we see the husband her estranged husband gets her mom to take the kids to school, and her mom tells him, listen, you need to get your wife back. Like, at this point, y'all have been separated. Y'all been separated too long. You know, one of y'all or both y'all are about to make some decisions that y'all can't take back, or do some things that y'all can't undo. And of course, his face basically says, oh, you mean like me watching her have sex with another man? Because, yeah, that already happened. Okay. So, we see his brother is in town. His brother is a singer. He's a gay man. I'm only saying that because that's part of who his character is. And he is a singer, and he has a show, and he asked his brother to bring the wife. Like, listen, bring Jax, you know. She loves my song. She loves my music, you know. Bring her. And he was like, I don't know. She might be busy at work. And he was like, man, bring her. She loves me. Like, she'll come. You know, of course, they haven't told him yet that they're separated. So he's like, oh, okay, I'll bring her, you know. So then we see her hanging out with her girlfriend. She's over, you know, one of their girlfriend's house, and they having cocktails and talking and everything. She lets them know that she did have her little one night stand, honey, and they were like, okay, you know, no judgments here. She gets a text from her husband asking her to go to the brothers. No. He doesn't text her. She get a text from Rich saying, listen, Braden wants to talk to you. Can you at least talk to him? Like, even if you decide not to take the case, can you at least just hear him out? So she was like, yeah, all right, whatever. So Braden calls her, and he was like, listen, I ain't about to beg. How much is it going to cost me? And she was like, excuse me? He was like, listen, you can get anything you want for the right price. So I want you to be my lawyer. What is it going to take? Like, what do I need to do? And she was like, well, first of all, like I told you the other day, everybody's price isn't money. So no, you can't buy me. And no, I don't want to take this case. Like, and so she lets him know, listen, I think you're arrogant. I think you're ass. And, you know, I don't know if you could be a type of client that I can work with, because I don't know if you're going to listen to me and do what I tell you to do. And he was like, you know, basically he was like, okay, but how much is it going to cost me? Because like I said, I know that for the right price, you'll come on. And she was like, and I told you no. So the next day is church day. And of course, we know that they go to church like they one big happy family. So he shows up with the kids. She's ready to go. And that's when he asks her, will you go to the show My Brother's in Town? And she was like, of course I will. And he was like, you will? She was like, yeah, why are you surprised? She was like, I love your brother. And he was like, yeah, but I was just a little nervous. So while they're at church, child, a couple of things happened at church. First of all, the pastor rose up on Jax and asked Jax if she could help out one of their church members, who happens to be Kalisha's cousin, the one that was at the law firm with her. So she knows exactly who Jax is as soon as she sees her. And she says, well, no, I don't think she can be very helpful to me because she works at the law firm that's representing him. And the pastor was like, yeah, so maybe she still has some help for you or some resources. You know, she can't represent you, but she can maybe still help. And, you know, Jax was like, yeah, I have, you know, the number to a victim's advocate who would be really great. You know, maybe you should reach out to her. So the woman ends up reaching out to the victim's advocate, and she calls Jax to thank her. And they end up having a really good conversation. They end up really having a, and she says, listen, you know, Kalisha deserves justice, you know, yada, yada, yada. And the cousin actually starting to see her a little differently, kind of see her in a different light and realize that maybe she, you know, misjudged her a little bit. But by the end of the episode, she's going to be back on the bandwagon. Like, no, you ain't shit. Now, the other thing that happens while they're at church, guess who up at the church? Child Michael Ealy ass is back at the church. Damon Cook, he is at the church, and she sees him, and of course she is freaked out because she told him leave her alone, stay away from her, don't talk to her. And after church is over, he's staying at the halfway house that's across the street. So she actually ends up going over there and like, listen, were you at the church today? And he was like, yeah, like I was at church. And so she was like, I told you to leave me, you know, stay away from me. He was like, look, the church is literally across the street from where I live. Like, I wasn't stalking you, bro. Like, that's not what I was doing. And so she was like, well, yeah, but I don't know, like, we need to, keep our distance. Like, I just need to keep my distance. And he said, okay, fine, I'll find another church, but he was like, listen, he was about to get in trouble because he wasn't supposed to have, company without, getting permission first. So she was like, listen, it's not his fault. It's my fault. I came up here without calling. But he says, listen, he gives her his phone number. He said, next time you want to come, call. So next thing you know, we see them meeting down to the Starbucks, and they end up having a conversation, and she says, listen, that wasn't fair of me to tell you, not to talk to me again. Like, that was very unfair of me. But at the end of the day, that case took a lot out of me. Like, when I saw what happened to you and the fact that I lost that case, that really is what led me away from being a public defender. Like, I just couldn't keep dealing with that system and seeing how unfair it was. And he said, when I made the decision to do what I did, it wasn't done lightly. He said, because they went to the beach. He said, and I was thinking about the fact that I would never ever be able, I'm literally 10 miles away from the beach, but I'll never be able to see it again. I'll never be able to put my hands in the sand again. And he said, listen, I just realized that confessing to something I didn't do was worth my freedom. Like, I really, my freedom was worth it, and so they have a little bit of a moment, but then she ends up leaving, and so we see her going out with her husband to go see the brother perform, and they look nice, they dressed up, they looking real good or whatever. The kids, her mom is babysitting. Mom lets them know, listen, you stay out as long as y'all need to stay out. Y'all do what y'all need to do. I got the kids. The son is still being a jerk to her, but we find out later on that, baby, he is failing in school, okay? He got some stuff going on. He got D's and stuff, and so that's going to be a whole situation. But he thinks that his parents are going to get back together. The daughter's worried about getting divorced, and he was like, hell, they just went out on a date tonight. They'll be all right. Like, they good. They just went on a date. Not realizing that it ain't a real date, but... So they end up having a really good time. They don't let on to the brother that they're not a couple. They play the whole lovey-dovey role all night. And they have a good time. The thing about them is when they are not arguing about whatever this issue is about her job or whatever, they are so fun to watch. They have inside jokes. They really get along with each other. They're yin and yang. He can read, like he reads what she's thinking. She reads what he's thinking. And it is so fun to see them together when they are in that space. But baby, when they get to arguing, ooh, it's a whole nother situation. So they leave there, and of course, the sexual tension is high. They've been drinking. They've been lovey-dovey all night. They get back to the house, baby. He drops her off at the house, and baby, they about to get it in, okay? They're about to get it in. They get over to the couch, and he tells her, turn around. And she was like, what? What do you mean? He was like, turn around. Because that's how she was doing it when she was watching him on the camera. She was, in reverse cowgirl, so to speak. And she was facing the camera. And so she was like, what? Like, what sick game are you playing? He was like, well, isn't that what you wanted? Isn't this what you want? And of course, now we know what I told y'all last time. She knew he was watching on that camera the whole time. She was like, listen, I ain't trying to be a part of this little sick game you playing. And he was like, well, it's not the first time that I've watched you like that. And she was like, baby, that was years ago. So I said, oh, we got a lot of secrets here. Secrets on top of secrets on top of secrets. So now, y'all had a whole voyeurism thing going on too. Jax, you got a lot, girl. It's a lot of layers to this. So, she ends up putting him out, child. That's the end of that. They don't have a happy ending. He goes home. And the grandmama is like, what you doing here? Didn't I tell you that you had all night? And he was like, yeah, it's whatever. She was like, it didn't end well. He was like, it was good until it wasn't. It was good until it wasn't good. The story of their life, child. So, Jax ends up getting a phone call letting her know that the police want to speak to Braden. And he's supposed to be headed to the police station, but can't nobody find him. And so they end up pinging his phone, yada, yada, yada. They find him. He's at the basketball court. So she goes to talk to him. She said, listen, Rich, you go down to the police station. So I'm going to try to buy some time. I mean, you try to buy some time while I go get him. Because she knows it ain't going to be a good look that he doesn't show up for the police like he's supposed to. She knows it's not going to be a good look. So she finds him at the basketball court. And they talk. They get to having a really good conversation. And he tells her, he said, listen, I know it's cliche for the black boy from the hood to make it big. And go marry the white woman. He was like, but listen, I love her. Like, it's a love match. You know, she's a good mother. And I love her. She said, yeah, but you were in love with Kalisha. He said, yeah, I was. He said, I really was. And I tried to break it off and walk away, but I couldn't stay away. He was like, and that night that I went to her to get her to sign the NDA, I like fell in love with her all over again. He said, so the fact that they think that I did something to hurt her, on top of me dealing with the loss of her, like, you know, he said, that's just not the scrutiny that I'm not really in that place to deal with that kind of scrutiny. Like, I didn't do anything to her. I would never do anything to her. And I feel like Kalisha believes him. Like, his conversation made her feel like he was sincere and that he meant it. And so she agrees to take his case. And next thing you know, they down at the police station and she giving a statement to the media. Because, of course, the media is all camped out. And she's giving a statement to the media. And who was watching her give a statement to the media about the innocence of her client and blah, 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 blah? Kalisha Cousin. So that's why Kalisha Cousin was like, see, I knew all along she won't, you know, sugar honey iced tea.